Hey guys, so I wanted to kind of get into what math is because I never really got into it in school and I really wish I had because it's really important. So, calculus is the mathematical study of continuous change. That's pretty cool, huh? Trigonometry is a study of triangles, and triangles are the basic building blocks of the universe. Geometry is a study of shapes. Let's not even get into sacred geometry. Algebra is a study of generalizations. Basic math is the study of absolutes. So, this is what popped into my mind when I saw the definition of basic math. So, I'm a psych major, and one thing that we always kind of learn as psychologists, nothing is always and nothing is um, never. There's always room in there. Thinking in absolutes isn't good. And honestly, thinking in absolutes is basic. It's basic thinking. It's a very foundational mark of thinking, but it's not growth. So the reason that we have to have these foundational principles of absolute is because we as humans, we need to categorize things. We have to have a place and time. In the 3D dimension, we have to have names. We have to have storylines. We have to have absolutes. To elevate above that, though, is when you start realizing that there's no such thing as absolutes, that everything is changeable, that ideologies change, people grow. What you thought yesterday may not be what you think today, and all of that's okay. We build upon the building block of basic absolutes, and we start getting into algebra, which is the study of generalizations. Then we start getting into geometry, which is the study of shapes and how the universe is shaped and those things that make shapes and how they're built. And then we start getting into trigonometry, which is the basic building blocks, triangles. So first we do geometry, which tells us about all the shapes in the universe. Then we start talking about trigonometry, which is like the building block of the universe. Then we get into calculus. So we go from absolutes to calculus. Calculus is a mathematical study of continuous change. So these are higher states of math. Then we start getting into physics, quantum physics, which I absolutely love and to this day, don't know how I understand it because I still count on my fingers. Like, math is not my suit. Physics not my suit. Science not my suit. But because of who we are as creatures on this earth, this stuff is locked in our DNA. A lot of this knowledge, a lot of this mathematical stuff and trigonometry. Like, I figured out triangles was the 3D avatar base for this dimension way before I saw anything about trigonometry. And I found that out with 369 code. I have a whole thing about that. That's a whole nother video. So we'll get into that. It's a whole nother video. But thinking about math and the building blocks of things, and how we build on top of things, basic math is a study of absolutes. So basic thinking is thinking in absolutes. Christianity is a basic concept. It's basic. Hebrew Israelites, basic concepts, basic. And when you get into these ideologies, Muslim, basic. Anything that limits your potential, anything that limits your thinking, anything that tells you that if you ask this question, you're wrong, or if you believe this thing, if you go out of this box, that's basic. Religion is basic. And when we think about the mathematical concepts of the universe, what the universe is made off of numbers, concepts, energy, and frequency, how does religion play a part in that, if not only to stop the flow? So there's something that I want to get into called So I believe that ritualistic celebrations actually distort time and cause time loops, and DNA malformations by inputting useless material into our DNA. into our memory, as if, you know, like every Christmas we have to do this, every Thanksgiving we have to do this, every, we Ramadan and all these different ritualistic um timekeepers. So that's really what holidays are. That's really what these celebrations are. They are ritualistic timekeepers. And who says we're supposed to keep time? That's a man-made concept. It's a distortion. It's a time distortion. And I'm not sure exactly how that relates to us, and how, and because what I do know is that we're out of sync with universal timing. That could have a lot to do with our ritualistic behaviors as humans, is that we knock ourselves out of the universal sync of timing. Okay. So one thing that I was looking at is the universal time matrix. So you have the universal time matrix. When we start quantifying time, which is counting time, basically we are quantifying motions of consciousness, and we're breaking them up into moments. Time is not numerical. It's it's conscious expansion. And I'm reading what I wrote. If you can expand your consciousness in all directions, you can go wherever you want to go and whatever time you want to be. And we're talking about time travel, using our consciousness for time travel. When we relive trauma in our memories, when we relive the past, and celebrate continuous the same real ritualistic holidays, we're actually creating a separate time matrix. We're creating time within time, a loop. So with a lot of what I was studying, I actually got into something called abstract algebra, and something called third century astronomical studies, and something called eratosthenes, Eratosthenes, and something called Timaeus. So these are all things that I'm researching, or that I'm looking up. But all of this came about because I started looking at time. I started looking at math and the meaning of math and what is math. Then I started looking at the universal time matrix. The universal time matrix is basically the collection of memories of the universe. So that also leads me into us as people. We have our own soul matrix inside of us, and it is the same thing. It's a collection of memories of the soul. There's a cosmic history. There's a cosmic history within our own soul matrix that links up with the universal memory matrix. But here's the thing, and this is how we get to understand who we are, find our Akashic records, and all this good stuff, right? But here's the thing. If we are so out of time and out of sync with the universe, we can't go back to find our cosmic history. It's been distorted. So just like the history on Earth has been distorted, like especially as a Black woman, not really knowing a lot about where I'm from, where my people are from, and all this other stuff, and how our history, sometimes we feel like our history can be stolen, or just we're lied to about it. It's the same thing with our cosmic history. If these memory distortions become a part of our history and our soul memory and our soul matrix, we could lose our cosmic history. We could forget it. Most of us have. Or it goes dormant, or it's distorted and it's actually mutated. And then we have to go in and find the story that is ours. It's like putting the pieces back together. So I hear people saying too, why can't I just, why does it feel like a puzzle? Honestly, if you're trying to really dig into your soul and get into your past life and all that stuff, and it feels like a puzzle, like you can't figure it out, like it's crazy, and you got to put the pieces together so much, that's an indicator of a lot of fracturing that's taken place. I would guess that you've had a lot of trauma in your past lives, and probably really maybe in this life, and that trauma has broken up into the energetic field and literally scattered memories all about. um it spreads your consciousness. It's a soul fracturing. Thank you, spirit. Am I channeling right now? I could be. It's the soul fracturing that happens within the soul matrix that causes us not to remember who we are, not to remember who we used to be, and makes us think in absolutes. It's a soul fracturing that takes us to the base level of existence and the foundational principles, meaning we fell from this dimension to here, and we fell to a dimension where absolutes is key. Means we're in a basic dimension, low dimension. So, in this earth realm, we live in absolutes. You have to pay your taxes or you go to jail. You have to eat 3 meals a day. You have to go to church. You have to have kids. You know there's a formula for happiness. There's a formula to make money. Absolute. There's a way to get to heaven. It's in the Bible. Read that Bible. It's absolutely. There's no other way around it. There's no other way to God but this way. We are in low basic thinking level. We're in 3D basic math level of thinking. In order to ascend, to elevate, to become divine alchemist, you cannot think in absolutes. One thing the alchemist knows is that shit is never constant. Well, it constantly changes. The one absolute is change. And those of us that are going to make it, those of us that are going to rise, are going to be those of us that can do the changes and do them well. So let me tell you what's going on now. So we're in a time where decisions are being made, not just in the collective, but in the world, in the universe, in a universal cosmic matrix. Decisions are being made. They're deciding who's going to elevate, who's not, because they're watching. So right now, you may feel the pull to go higher, or you may feel the pull to go lower. If you're feeling the pull to go lower, that's because you have a lot of inner demons that you have not taken care of. You have a lot of lower energies that are flooding up through your meridian system, and you're not taking care of those issues. Those issues are becoming actual attachments to the body, but also to the energetic field. But at some point, those attachments will insert themselves and become a part of you. And you no longer just feel angry. You are an angry person. You're always fucking angry. Met those people that are always angry? That's because anger became a part of their DNA. An entity attached and became part of their DNA. Okay, let's talk about the chakra monster. So the chakra monster, I found out, are Arcons. I didn't even know what the fuck an Archon was. But chakra monsters are Archons. And the ones that I can see are the ones that haven't developed into people. They haven't developed personalities. They haven't found a host to take over completely. But what they are doing is connecting to people, and they are these strange robot type of entities that connect to people and like suck them dry. These things keep you in low vibration. So, and this is how they do it too. So there's something called a holographic memory maintenance system that was downloaded to me. I'll say it again. Holographic memory maintenance system. So, and I've heard Christians talk about this all the time, where they'll say, like, Yeah. Oh, if you're always being constantly reminded about things that's going wrong in your life, or you're constantly being shown things that you want that other people have, is to make you jealous, to make you angry, the demons are doing that. Okay, that's fine. But those chakra monsters that I'm talking about, they're doing that too. I'm sorry, guys. I'm moving around. It's morning and I've had coffee. They do that too. They connect to you and they remind you. They go into your matrix, into your soul matrix. They start looking at the holographic breaks in your system, those holographic memory moments, those breaks in your system, the soul fracturing. And they go to those points and they start hitting those points and hitting those points over and over and over again. And what they do is they give you obsessive thinking about everything that's gone wrong in your life. Things are never going to go right. They block your third eye. They block your crown. And before you know it, you're depressed and you're going through this cycle, narcissistic cycling, which I'll talk about in another video. And they get to connect to you and hold you in that spot. A lot of this comes from absolute thinking, basic thinking. We have to come out of the basic math. The 1 + 1 is 2. What if 1 + 1 is 8? Can we talk about that? Can we kind of see? Because in algebra, it's generalization. So you got 1 + x equals what? So let's go there. And then with geometry, we take those numbers and we turn them into shapes, I guess. But then with trigonometry, which we also study, is the basic of triangles and how they work, which is the basic makeup of the 3D universe. Now, triangles are basic makeup of the 3D universe. The triangle is the basic makeup of the 3D universe. A lot of us are having bad manifestations because we are using a basic avatar for those manifestations. We're not putting anything on top of it. So, say you want to manifest $1 billion, but you have a 3D avatar, but you're calling $1 billion from 60 dimensions, for 6 dimension. How is the 3D avatar going to handle a 6-dimension manifestation? That's why people get money and go crazy, kill themselves, lose their money, because they put that on a 3D avatar. You wasn't ready for that. It's a buildup of the avatar to get that manifestation for it to go well. There's a whole manifestation code for that, for the 369 avatar. And I came up with it and I wrote it down. And now when I look at my writings, I don't understand them. Was there any quantum physicists out there that look back at your shit and your formulas and you have no idea what the hell you was talking about? How do you manage that? You should have to write better notes. I don't write good notes. I have a friend that keeps telling me you need to write notes. Why aren't you writing notes? You need to write notes. I had notes on my walls, but then I had to paint my walls. Rambling. Okay, so that's all I really wanted to talk about was math and how math is really important and how math can tell us a lot about the universe, about ourselves, about a whole bunch of shit. So get into math, my friends. That's it. That's the video. Just more ramblings of the Divine Alchemist. See you guys later.